Something we've all been hearing a lot about in the past few years is cycle syncing. And most of the times we're hearing about this in relationship to diet and exercise for women at different points in their cycle. Where I haven't heard it talked a lot about is in reference to breath work. And I don't know, but here is what I've been trying and noticing over the years. So when I'm in my follicular phase, first half of the cycle, and everything is just fine and dandy and rosy, I notice that I tend to enjoy more Wim Hof style breathing or holotropic breathing, any kind of circular breathing where you're actually really over breathing and it's a mild stressor. But the truth is, you can take it most of the time in that part of your cycle if everything is otherwise good. However, when I get to my luteal phase of the cycle, and progesterone rises, one thing that happens in response to progesterone rising is that it cues your body to breathe a little bit more. So you're in this slight cycle of overbreathing. Now, I notice for myself that in this phase, I have almost what feels a little bit like anxiety, and it's not really mental or based on anything. It just feels kind of like a shortness of breath in my chest. And sometimes I even wake up that way. What I do when I feel like that's been really effective, is that I move more into breath holding work, which is ironically a little bit harder because, again, you're like in this over breathing, and it's just more uncomfortable. That's why running's also a little bit harder, I'm sure, among other things. But anyway, the breath holding feels good because if you're over breathing, you're off gassing a lot of CO2. And CO2 sounds bad to everybody, but you want CO2 because it helps deliver the oxygen throughout your body. So that's not happening as much, right? Because we're already over breathing. When I hold my breath, I build CO2. So that builds my body's capacity, reminds me, like, oh, yeah, this is how we move oxygen throughout the body. Now, my friends in perimenopause and menopause might be thinking, like, oh, sweet. Well, my progesterone doesn't rise as much. If you're in perimenopause, it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, I'm not having that problem. So maybe I don't deal with this. But progesterone isn't just something that makes you overbreathe, it's also very regulating for our nervous system. So when that drops, or if you're postpartum and your progesterone is dropping off, you need to more manually take care of your nervous system. And that's where breath work also comes in. So we're going to do, I don't know, I guess call this a follicular kind of breath work, but we're breath holding if you don't have a cycle at all, because you're a dude, this also feels good. And hopefully, after the tiny bit of stress from breath holding, you're going to feel relaxed. Okay, so go ahead and get set up if you haven't already. As I explain what we're going to do, you're going to be lying down and make yourself very comfortable because the most important part of this practice is actively relaxing your body. So you have to be connected to your mind, and muscles have to be connected because that's what's going to help you in the breath holds. We're going to do 4 breath holds and we're going to build on them, building up to a minute and 30 seconds. We're going to do a minute 30, I think, 2 times. Um, we'll see. But we're going to start off slow and you're going to get there. Obviously, this is your body and this shouldn't be overly stressful. So if you're like in the panic zone when you're breath holding, take a breath. Okay. The panic zone doesn't help you here. But if you can, we're going to be extending the breath just a little bit longer. And I promise your body's different every day. So if this is hard today, but you come back to it next week and it's easy, that's life. That's having a body. Okay. Without any further ado, you're lying down, you're set up, hopefully somewhere soft and cushy. Go ahead and place your hand on your belly. Take a breath in, moving your hand. And as you sigh it out, let out a little hum. Good. Hums are nice and relaxing for our nervous system. Do that twice more. Inhale. Exhale through your nose with a hum. And one more time on your own. Inhale. Nice. And exhale, hum it out. Fabulous. We're going to be getting ready for that 30-second breath hold. All that you're going to do is inhale to the top and we're going to hold. So keep your breath steady for another 10 seconds before we start. Good. Go ahead and start to exhale if you haven't already. And we'll start to take that breath. Inhale, holding, fill it up to the top. Good. Fill it in. Good. And now you hold. And this one's 30 seconds. I almost guarantee that you can do it. But again, if it feels overly challenging or painful in any way, please don't do it. You can let go and join us on the next one. We're more than halfway through, almost there. Last 10. Relax your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that breath go. And give yourself a moment to breathe in and out of your nose. You might want to gasp for air, but the nasal breathing is going to bring you back to baseline quicker. It's okay if your heart's beating faster. That makes sense. You are just holding your breath. But notice as it slows down, with your breath being free, to just go back to baseline. We're in our recovery zone right now, so let your breath be natural in and out of your nose. And use this time as well to let your body relax here. We'll take that hold starting in another 30 seconds. But for now, let your head relax into the surface you're laying on, backs of your shoulders, arms, hands, hips, backs of your legs and feet. Good. About another 20 seconds before we take that hold. You're soft, you're easy. It's also a time to be out of your mind. Starting in 10, start to get ready for that breath hold. Good. Begin to inhale. We'll hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it all the way up to the top. Sip it in. Good. This breath hold, we're going to go for 1 minute. Good. Now remember, relax your body as you're here. You're already 20 seconds in. And your body, your face, everything is soft. If you're tense, you're going to use up some of that breath. Think about it. But if you're soft, there's no need to provide another breath, if you will. About 20 seconds left. Stay if you can here for just another 10 seconds. Easy here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that go. Good. And now we're recovering. Breaths in and out of your nose. Soften your jaw. Unclench your hands or anything else you might be holding on to. Just letting your body regroup from that breath hold before we go to our 3rd out of 4 breath holds. If it helps, you can let your mind rest on your breath. Should be a little bit slower by now. Or simply let it rest on the feeling of sinking, of softening, of unwinding, and carving out a little bit of space in your day. Good. 20 seconds out from this next breath hold. This time we're going to go for 1:15. You've got this. And you're in control. You go for as long as your body allows. Good. Let's go ahead and start to take that breath in. Good. Breathe all the way up to the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sip it in. Hold here. Good. 1 minute and 15 seconds. You're already making headway. Be easy here. Good. Allow yourself to take a swallow if you need. That can buy you a little bit more time when you start to feel the air hunger creeping in. But until then, be soft. You're almost a minute in. And if it starts to feel like you're really, really clenching for the finish line and it's uncomfortable to a high degree, let it go. You can try again later. Good. Almost there. Last 15 seconds here. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Amazing. Breaths in and out of the nose. We'll recalibrate for 90 seconds before taking our fourth and final hold. Enjoy this little bit of space. Maybe noticing a softer, less preoccupied quality of mind than where you started. Or maybe your brain's scanning because this is new. And when something's new, we get a little bit activated by it. I promise this gets easier. And the payoff is pretty high. Good. A little bit less than a minute of this recovery. Remember this last hold, we're going to do 1 minute and 30 seconds. Just one of those for today. Good. In 15 seconds, we'll start. Good. Start to take that breath, getting ready. Good. All the way up to the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sip it in. Awesome. And we're holding 1 minute and 30 seconds. Looking to relax, to kind of get lost in this breath hold. Remind your body that you're safe, that there's nothing to respond to immediately. You're already 30 seconds in. I'm repeating myself a lot, but it is true. If you can let your body be soft, you buy yourself more time and space here. Good, almost there. Awesome. Another 30 seconds. Almost there, nice and easy. See if you can stay with it. Last 15. 10. Feeling that breath hunger for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go. And that is the end of your practice today. Recover, breathing in and out of the nose. And I encourage you, if you have the time, to stay here just a little bit longer, letting yourself notice and really letting your body and mind register what this just did for you. You might need to do it a few times before you can really pick up on that, but I will leave you here exploring that feeling. Good work today.